Are you a Muslim and you feel like you're kind of lost where you are right now? You're not where you want to be when it comes to your physical health. You're not in shape. You don't feel confident or proud of your body. You don't have energy when you come home from work, and you don't really know what to do about it. And as well, not only with the physical health, you feel like the spiritual side of things. You feel like every day that goes by, you get further and further away from Allah. Your Iman goes down. But what if I told you there's a really simple solution to this? Like a secret that I teach all of my clients to follow, a secret that helped them to lose at least 10 kilos of belly fat in their first 8 weeks and become consistent with their prayers every single day, and help them to pray tahajjud, help them to read more Quran and become stronger Muslims. And not only that, what if I told you that this secret I'm talking about is something I'm about to reveal to you in this video? Like, I'm going to show you the exact step-by-step system I teach my client so that you can do the same and get the same results as them and get out of this negativity hole you're in right now to a state where you feel happy about life, where you feel confident and proud of what you have accomplished, and reach a place where you can be more thankful to God for all the blessings He has given you through this hard work you have put in. So the things I'm about to tell you in this video are the secrets I've been teaching my clients for years, and you will know exactly how it works and how to apply it in your own life in order to get in shape physically and spiritually. And before we jump right into it, there's one thing I need to mention. And that is, if you really want to benefit from this, if you want to see the great results that this system can give you, I really recommend you to watch the video from the beginning to the end, because there are multiple parts to the system that you need to use together. And you cannot just pick one and expect results out of that, because that's the thing many people miss out on. They don't understand that reaching the dream state, the dream body they want, they need to transform their lifestyles. And in order to do that, there are multiple parts you need to work on. And this is what the system will do. So if you really want these results I'm talking about, to burn belly fat, to get in shape as fast as possible, to get more energy and get closer to Allah in a short period of time, and not only that, but to maintain this for the rest of your life, watch this video from the beginning to end so you can understand how to use the system and apply it in your own life. So jumping into this system will show you how you as a Muslim will lose at least 10 kilos of fat, have more energy for your family and work, and build habits that gets you closer to Allah in less than 3 months. And this is, of course, without having to give up your favorite foods that many people do, and having to spend hours every day at the gym away from your family, and even without gaining all the weight back and getting back to old habits once you have completed the process. And now, before we dive into it, if you haven't seen me before, you don't know who I am, my name is Simon. And what I'm about to show you is a step-by-step process, a system on how I helped Muhammad, a client of mine that you can see right here, to lose over 10 kilos of body fat within 8 weeks, even less than 8 weeks, to be honest, and get 4 extra hours of energy every single day after he finished work to work on his side business and feeling more confident. He no longer have to, pull the shirt so his belly doesn't pop out when he sits down. You know this feeling. He doesn't have to do that anymore. And this obviously makes him much more confident and makes him more able to have proper discussion and conversation with people without being distracted. And a side note here, which is really important, this is not a regular fitness program from your local gym. This is a system designed by a Muslim, me, for Muslims, you, in order to take care of your body as an amanah from Allah, as a trust from Allah that Allah has given you, and becoming the best Muslim version of yourself. Now, let's find out who this system is for. It's obviously not for everyone. So if you're a Muslim who have been struggling getting in shape for a while now, losing 10 to 15 kilos of fat, and had enough of the way you look, this is for you. And if you're sick and tired of feeling distant and far away from Allah, and you feel like you need a clear and a simple plan to get back and become a better Muslim and build stronger Iman, this is for you. If you're feeling guilt, shame, or disappointment in yourself for not being a good role model for your children and family, this is also for you. And now the most important part, if you're not ready to return to Allah today, knowing that you never unlocked the full potential, but you still want to do that and you need support and guidance to get there, this is for you. Now, who is this program not for? Let's find out. First, if you want to keep on blaming everything and everyone and keep on hoping without putting in the work to actually change your circumstances and your life, this is not for you. And secondly, if you're looking for a quick fix and you don't have sabr to follow a proven system like this that will make you a better Muslim for the rest of your life, this is not for you. And thirdly, if you're not ready to allocate at least 15 minutes per day, building new religious habits, being physically active, and fixing your nutrition. 15 minutes per day. If you cannot allocate that, this is not for you. And fourthly, which is the most scary one, if you don't believe that Allah wants you to reach the best version of yourself, you don't really care, in what state you will meet him. This system is not for you and you have bigger problems than that. Let's put it like that. So this is the truth about becoming a stronger Muslim that no one will tell you about. something I've learned after coaching hundreds of Muslims becoming a better version of themselves. Because as a Muslim, you can, in fact, get in shape and get closer to Allah without having to spend hours away from your family at the gym or having to become a shaykh of some sort. Because most Muslims, the problem they have is they're not capable of doing this because they do not understand three important things, three essential things. And that is number one, eat a balanced nutrition and being active on a daily basis. And this is like the Prophet, ﷺ, how he and the Sahaba radiallahu anhum did. And number two, creating small habits that together creates big results over time. And then thirdly, using the stronger Muslim system that I'm about to reveal to you, instead of doing a quick fix or, do it myself, me, myself, and I approach. These are the three essentials most Muslims cannot really comprehend or understand or know how to apply in their own lives. And listen, this one is really important. There are no such things as I cannot sacrifice the food I love. I'm too busy with kids and work, so I cannot do this. These excuses that you are using are really not excuses. These are rather reasons for you to actually get a hold of your life, get in shape physically and spiritually. The truth is, you don't have to spend hours every day or having to stop eating what you love in order to become a stronger and healthier Muslim. And if you want to become that stronger and healthier Muslim, I will show you exactly, number one, how to lose at least 10 kilos of your body fat in less than 90 days. And number two, how to create small habits that together create big results, as I told you, and brings you closer to Allah. And thirdly, how I helped Muhammad lose so much weight and boost his confidence so much so even his friends, families, and coworkers notice. And fourthly, how to do all of this without having to give up your favorite food or having to spend time away from your family. And now, in case you don't know me, here's a brief backstory I want to tell you how I got here. So the thing is, I'm obviously not a born Muslim. You can see the tattoos here, right? I grew up as an atheist in Sweden. And honestly, for the majority of my life, I felt lost. Maybe the same way you're feeling right now, not even worse. I felt lost physically, mentally, and spiritually. I was in a very rough time for many, many years. And in 2017, Allah saw something in me and guided me. So I reverted back to Islam and I decided to, you know what? This is going to be a new chapter of my life. I'm going to take care of my body. I'm going to take care of my Iman. Because as you can see in the left picture, I was extremely underweight. For reference, I'm 108 centimeters tall and I was extremely underweight for my height. And then after that, when I started working on this and made thousands of mistakes that hopefully you don't have to do, but I did it because I didn't know how to fix it. And I didn't have anyone that could help me or guide me through the process. So I decided to become a personal trainer. And I started to combine fitness in Islam in the way I coached people because I didn't see that anywhere else. It was always something that was split up. Either you go for Islam or you go for fitness. But it was very hard back in those days to see something that combined both of them in a proper way. Not saying, okay, I'm a Muslim, so I can teach you about fitness and that's it. No, there are so many more things to Islam that you need to incorporate into your daily life. And then in 2021, I created the Stronger Muslim system. And since then, 250 plus Muslims, more than that now, have transformed their physical and spiritual health in less than 90 days. So the Stronger Muslim system is my method I built through my own trial and error by coaching hundreds of Muslim men and women, getting in shape physically and spiritually, and showing them how to keep it for the rest of their lives. And now for the first time, as I said in the beginning, I've decided to break everything down for you in this video. So in the following steps, I'm going to outline the entire process from A to Z of what I did to accomplish these results so that you can also use my Stronger Muslim system to lose at least 10 kilos of body fat, have more energy for your family, and build habits that will get you closer to Allah in less than 90 days. So a quick breakdown of the system. There are three main components to this, like a pyramid, as you can see on the right side here. So the bottom part represents the diet. This is a really core component because without the proper diet, all the other things won't really matter. And that's why I said you cannot just pick one thing and hope that will change your life because it won't work with all of these, as I've seen how it works with other people, right? So in the diet, we have not only one way to do it, we have 4 different ways to do it, 4 different approaches that I'm going to tell you about in detail. And we're going to balance the function of the food, the nutrition side of food, and the enjoyment, foods that you like to eat, and how to balance that out. And then the second part, the middle part, is the workout itself. So there are 2 parts to this. You have weekly activity that involves the weekly workout that you're going to have. And it doesn't really matter if it's going to be at home or at the gym, as long as you do something on a weekly basis that makes you strong. And then you want to have something called a daily activity to make sure you are moving every single day. You're using your body, utilizing it every single day. And then the top one, which seemed to be the smallest one, but to be honest, if you want all of these to work, the habits is a must. Because what I've seen with people, they only apply this, the diet and the workout, 90% of them go back to their old weight. It doesn't matter if they've gained a lot of muscle or lose a lot of fat, they go back to their old self in less than 2 years or so because they didn't have a lifestyle. They didn't build and design a lifestyle that would help them to maintain, sustain, and improve these results over time. That's the problem. So you need to create proper habits, both in the religion side of things and in the fitness side of things. And we have something called the 1% approach that I'm also going to break down for you in this video. So let's start. The Stronger Muslim system, it's broken down into two essential phases. So we got the implementation phase and the maintenance phase. And these, as I showed you in the previous slide, are made up of three main components. So the initial phase is the first phase you start off with, and you got a 90 to a 120-day application phase, a period of time that you are applying these different rules and principles that the system will give you to make sure that you are fixing the things that are broken in your life right now. And this can mean fixing the diet, fixing the daily activity, the weekly activity, creating new habits, removing the bad ones, building the good ones, right? And then after that, you have a maintenance phase, a 60 to 90-day lifestyle phase. And this one, the purpose of this one is to maintain the weight loss or the weight gain, the muscle gain you have built up, and not to go back like 90% of people do. And instead of creating a bunch of new habits, you stack habit on top of each other. And if it doesn't make sense, don't worry. And this is how you're going to achieve going from a very bad spot, a very bad shape in your health, in your mindset, in your mental health, spiritual health, whatever, and then go into becoming a stronger, more resilient version of yourself as a Muslim. And then obviously, like I told you before, both phases are made up of three main components: the diet, the workouts, and the habit. So here's how I optimize each necessary component of the Stronger Muslim system for Muhammad here. So he was not held back by the mistakes he did, and finally got in shape physically, spiritually, and at the end of this, became a stronger Muslim. So let's start off with the first phase, the initial phase. And in this one, obviously, we're going to look at the diet, work, and then the habits, right? So let's start with the diet, the first bottom layer of the pyramid. Diet is the way to reduce your belly fat, reduce your total body fat, and get leaner. That's it. As I said previously, we don't have just one way to fix your diet. We have four. And let's break every single one of them down so you can understand how to use them in your life. And as a disclaimer, you're not supposed to use all of them at the same time, obviously. These are there to make sure that you have a flexible way to work with your diet. See it as, the salah, the prayer. When you are traveling and when you're at home, there are different rules, right? When you're traveling, you can combine prayers, such as you can pray Dhuhr and Asr together, and you can pray Maghrib and Isha together. You can shorten the prayers. You don't have to pray Dhuhr 4 rakat. You can pray 2 rakat, right? So this is the same principle we're using here. We want to make sure that your diet is flexible and it's not, confined in one box. And, as soon as you jump out of that, everything's ruined, which is what happened with many people. So the first approach is the macro tracking. This is quite similar to tracking and counting calories, but there's a big difference. Because counting calories, you only take into account of how many calories you're eating. But with macro tracking, you're not only looking at that, you're looking at the amount of protein, carbs, fat, and the micronutrients and minerals and everything. And it might sound very, complex, but it's not. It's much easier than the calorie tracking, right? Because it will firstly teach you how to work with your diet. And secondly, it will help you to know how much you need to eat in order to gain muscles and lose belly fat. So if you want to go for that one and start doing that, I really recommend you to download this app if you haven't used it already, MyFitnessPal, and track the food that you're eating, right? And then secondly is using a generated meal plan, which means you create a meal plan for yourself that you can follow to make sure that you are, if you want to lose weight, in a calorie deficit and eat enough protein. Or if you want to gain weight, in a calorie surplus and eat enough protein, right? So you want to obviously find a meal plan that works for you. Like if you live in the Middle East, you're not supposed to have a European meal plan if you don't want it. You should have something that you like to eat and that you want to eat, right? And for this, what you could do is to use this website, eatthismuch.com. And these are free. All of these options, I'm telling you, are free to use, so you don't have to pay anything. So when you go into this website, you can insert your preferences, what you want to eat, how many meals, how many calories, all of these things. And then they will generate a meal plan with a bunch of recipes for you that you can follow if you want to pick this approach, right? And then we got the third one, which is a time-specific eating approach. And one thing I didn't mention in the beginning is that every single approach is not like they are set in stone and that's how you're going to use it, because everyone's different. And the way we use them and the way I apply these approaches to my clients, it varies a lot depending on the person. And within each approach, there are different strategies to make them more flexible to the person that's going to use them. And now in the time-specific eating, one very common strategy is the intermittent fasting. Maybe you've done that before, where you have a certain time where you eat and a time where you don't eat, right? A very common one is the 16-8 method. You start eating at 12 p.m. and then you stop eating at 8 p.m., which means you skip breakfast, obviously, and you skip the night snack. And this will help a lot of people to lose weight automatically, even though they keep on eating what they usually eat, because this restricts the time of eating. Then we got this portion-specific eating. As I said, these all offer different strategies to make it flexible, to use them in your life. So one very common one, this is probably the most easiest one out there. that I'm using with my client, and that is the half or double strategy. This basically means that if you want to lose weight, you will use the first part of the strategy, the half one. Every single meal that you eat, every single drink that you drink, everything you consume on a daily basis, all you need to do is to consume half of what you usually consume on a daily basis. This will help you to bring down the total daily intake and automatically will help you to lose belly fat. Now, on the other hand, if you want to gain weight, you use the second part of strategy, which is the double part. And you probably have guessed what you got to do. You got to double the meals you eat, the drinks you drink. Everything you consume on a daily basis, you double it. Now, for many people that are hard gainers, have hard time to gain weight, they might not have that appetite. So one thing to make it more flexible is to only double the protein sources. Don't care about the fat and carb sources, but double the protein sources. So if you get one chicken fillet for dinner, get two, right? And focus on eating that, because most people, when they have a hard time gaining weight, they're not eating enough protein. That's the first problem. So these are the 4 different approaches that we use. Now, pick one and start off with that and use some of these strategies I've presented. You can even combine. If you want to combine, a meal plan and use it with intermittent fasting, that's totally fine. Just make it simple. Don't overwhelm yourself with this. So let's take a look. How did we do this for Muhammad? So he was able to lose 10 kilos of belly fat in his first 8 weeks. We had a big discussion which one we should pick. So he decided to do macro tracking and track everything he ate. And for the macro split, how much protein, carbs, and fat, he wanted to use the ketogenic approach, which is totally fine. He said that this worked for him in the past and he wanted to try it out again. So no problem with that, as long as it makes sense for you, right? Don't force yourself into a diet if it doesn't make sense. So I created these macros, 170 calories per day, and then 130 grams of protein, 40 grams of carbs, 110 grams of fat, which is in the line of the ketogenic diet. Something extra he wanted to do and include is to have meal example. As you can see on the right side here, I added meal examples for him that he can follow because he wasn't really sure what would fall under the ketogenic diet. So he was afraid to eat too much carbs. Fine. I made a lot of meals. So this is a way of combining the macro tracking with the generated meal plan, right? And then obviously he used my private app to track everything, to use everything with his diet. So it's much easier when you have everything in one place. But if you don't have access to my app, no problem. You can use the apps I showed you in the previous slide. Now, let's take a look at the workout. The workout is the only way to become stronger, the only way to have more energy. Because if you're not moving, your body is going to become very, very weak, and as well as your mental health, because big correlation between physical health in your body and mental health. So there are 3 components to this, or 3 parts to this. The first one is creating a weekly workout plan, something that will help you to become stronger on a weekly basis. You need to take a look at if you want to work out at home or at the gym. And then a very important part here is looking at the minimum days you can work out. Imagine your busiest week you've had. How many workouts could you have done in that week? 1, 2, 3, whatever that number is, that's your minimum. And that's what you should create a workout plan for. Because having a minimum amount of days working out will be much more easier to sustain. And the mistake people do here is that they try to work out several days a week, but they're not able to sustain it. So they skip like 2 days of the workout plan, which means they are skipping essential muscle groups. For example, they might skip legs, they might skip whatever, and then they will become underdeveloped in these areas and there will be a much more increased risk of injury. So keep yourself in the minimum days range. Secondly, you want to create a physical activity. We're going to touch on that more with the 1% approach in the habits part. But this can include going, buying groceries, cleaning your house, something you do physically on a daily basis. And then we have something called the Plan ABC concept. For example, the Plan A can be, okay, I'm going to go and work out in the gym today. But let's say you're very busy. You don't have time to go to the gym. All right. Then you, instead of going to the gym, you go and do a home workout for like 5 or 10 minutes. At least you're doing something, right? And if you cannot even do that, you do the Plan C, which is the minimum. Like, this is the lowest level. You should never go below this to make sure that you are consistent with your physical activity. And this can be incorporated with the daily physical activity. It can be taking a 5-minute walk, or doing 10 push-ups, like takes like 10 seconds. So what we did for Muhammad was he wanted to go to the gym. He had no problems with that. He had a gym membership. And we started out with 3 days. That was the minimum days. And then we increased that to 5 days. And he didn't want to do a workout that lasted more than 15 minutes. So we had all workouts below this. And you can see an example, all the exercises. This is 1 day from his workout plan. So these are all the examples. And obviously he had my app that he used to track everything. So make sure to track your workout. This is going to be a gold mine for you, that you can track your progress and make sure that you're becoming stronger every day. It can be as simple as, on a piece of paper, writing down how much you lift, or in your phone in the notes, or downloading an app that helps you to do this. So this is how we set up the workout for Muhammad. And now if you don't really know where to start, here are 2 examples that you can start using, one for home and one for the gym. So you can take a screenshot and then start using this. The minimum here is 2 days a week, but you can double it up and do 4 days. You can do 3 days, 5 days, whatever, however you want to combine this. So Screenshot this if you want to use this, inshallah. And now to the top of the pyramid, the most important part, in my opinion, the habits, which is the only way to stay committed, to stay on track, and never go back to your old self. Because I've been doing this for many years for myself. I've been using the system for myself. I was the first one that started using this. I haven't gone back. Alhamdulillah. This is from the will of Allah, but you need to put in the work, obviously. I didn't go back to become skinny. I still kept my muscles and I keep on growing from every single year and becoming stronger, alhamdulillah. The way you're going to use it is applying the 1% approach, which means basically creating small habits that together create big results. And this is something we find in the Sunnah, in one of the hadith from the Prophet ﷺ, where he said, وَأَنَّ أَحَبَّ الْأَعْمَالِ أَدْوَامُهَا إِلَّا اللَّهُ وَإِنْ قَلَّ, which means that the most beloved deed to Allah is the most regular and constant, even if it were little. So Allah doesn't look at the action, but how you perform the action. That's more prioritized than the action itself, how you perform the action. Is it performed in a consistent manner, or are you just doing it for a couple of days and never do it again? Like many people do, like Ramadan is a very good example. People pray tahajjud every single night. People fast. People do this and that, pay zakah. But then after Ramadan, it seems like they've forgotten all about it and go back to their old self. Why? Because they don't apply the 1% approach. That's why. The habits that you create initially should be as easy like brushing your teeth. Imagine this. You are brushing your teeth subconsciously. You don't even think about it. It has even gotten to the point that you brush your teeth, and the days you don't do it, you feel uncomfortable. You feel something is off. Like many people might tell you your breath stinks. That's another reason, but you feel like something is off. This is how you're going to want to apply the 1% approach. It's the same exact principle in any habit that you want to create, no matter if it's religious habits or fitness habits. When you apply a habit, let's take reading Quran, for example. Instead of reading 10 pages per day, start with 1 ayah per day. That's it. 1 ayah, right? And then after that, when you have done it consistently for at least 1 week or so, you go to something called habit stacking. So for example, you could either increase the habit, stack more volume, go from 1 ayah per day to 2 ayahs per day. Don't make a big jump like 1 ayah to 1 page. That doesn't make sense. So 1 ayah to 2 ayahs. Or if you want to combine this with something else, like you read 1 ayah and then you make a dua, a specific dua that you want to learn. Then you combine these. You stack the new habit on top of the consistent habit that you already built. And then you can do something called habit merging. This is in certain situations where you have 2 habits that you can combine. For example, if you find yourself that you want to pray tahajjud and you want to read more Quran, for example, what you could do is read the portions of the Quran in your tahajjud. This is a way of merging the habit, but you need to make both consistent before doing that. For example, you are consistent with reading Quran every day, and you are consistent with praying tahajjud every night, or whatever that might be. And then when you know that you're consistent, the way that you would have stacked new habits, you merge them together because you know you are consistent. This is not a big jump for you. Now, let's take a look how we did this and applied this 1% approach in Muhammad's case. So this is one of the earliest weeks when he joined the program. As you can see, in the first days of this week, he didn't do any tracking. He at least tracked his weight, which is really good. Tracking it on a daily basis to see the fluctuation, see if it goes up or down. And now I told him, look, Muhammad, okay, you got from Monday to Tuesday, you dropped 1 kilo of fat. Right, that's amazing. But look, if you want to make this consistent and sustainable, you need to make sure that you're tracking your habits. You need to make sure that you are implementing the 1% approach. Otherwise, you would just go back. All of the people do that are not following the system. So he started doing the walk. He took it lightly. And then the Thursday, you can see the big difference. From Tuesday, Wednesday, it didn't happen anything in his weight. Nothing went down. And as soon as he tracked the calories, the walks, and he wanted to listen to an Islamic lecture for at least 5 minutes, suddenly his weight dropped down. And these habits is something you should create on your own. Do not copy his habits because they might not apply to your life. So you need to create your own habits and track that. And then Friday, he did the same. Now, even though he did not follow it, he tracked it, which is really important. This gives us a bigger understanding on how we should make sure that he is, in fact, applying it every single day. Because there might be things that put him off. He might not have time to do a walk. What could he do instead? And applying the plan ABC concept. Remember, as I told you earlier on in the video. And then you see, it's almost a 2 kilo drop in that week. And this is the power of creating small habits that together create big results. And now if you want to apply this, you can download an app, a habit tracker. Make sure you have a friend that can keep you accountable and, have some sort of a punishment. If you don't follow, the habit for at least 4 days in a week or 5 days in a week, or keep on tracking, you need to buy them a dinner, some kind of punishment, because you need to keep yourself accountable. Because all of my clients, I take a look every single day. And if they don't do it like this, or they fail like this, I will talk with them. I will make sure they're accountable and make sure we find a solution on how to overcome this obstacle. So you need to create something similar in your life. And now to the maintenance phase, which is the most important phase if you want to make sure that you are creating long-term results like this. So obviously, same 3 components, the diet, workout, habit. So you want to create a long-term diet. The diet you had previously might have been long-term, or it might have been very intense. And it's not something that you can sustain, but it's necessary to get you to the result as fast as possible, because you want to make the drop of the weight or the weight gain, you want to make that as fast as possible. You don't want to make it prolonged into a very long period, like years, because it would just make you tired and burn you out. You want to make it very short, and then you can go into weight management, for example, and create lifestyle sustainability. And for the workouts, very similar, but you want to create more variations to this. You want to put your focus elsewhere. Instead of making the workouts consistent, which now they should have become consistent during the initial phase, you want to focus on different areas. You want to create different cycles. Whereas maybe you focus on, okay, I want to become stronger in my legs. They're a little bit weaker than the rest of my body. So you focus 6 weeks on that for a cycle. And then you go into another cycle where you focus on the shoulders. And then you go through all of these different body parts or even movements, exercises. So this is more of a performance focus. And then with the habit system, instead of creating a bunch of new habits, you have already created a lot of habits, and you want to use the stacking habit method. And this is more, instead of looking at the internal part of yourself, you're looking at the external. You're looking at the environment. You want to design your environment to make sure that you keep on going. Because as you know in the hadith, where the man that killed 99 people and then killed 100 people after killing the monk that told him that he would not be forgiven by Allah, the reason being, one of the conditions for forgiveness was that he need to remove himself from the destructive environment he was in. So he need to go to another city. So you see, this wisdom in this hadith was to change your environment, because otherwise you cannot change yourself. And we can see in another hadith where the Prophet ﷺ, he said, "الرجل على دين خليلي فلينظر أحدكم من يخالل," that a man is on the religion of his friend. Each one of you should take a look at who you have as friends. Because if all your friends are obese, out of shape, don't care about praying salah, not good Muslims, whatever, you cannot come and think that you're going to be the exception, that you're going to be the healthy one, you're going to be in shape, you're going to be religious, pray, tahajjud, mashallah. No, that's not how it works. These people will affect you. You will not affect them, right? So you need to work a lot on this to make sure that this is something you can sustain for the rest of your life, to create a long-term behavior change. So the stronger Muslim system is meant to help you stop following your desires, being lazy and wasting your time in this dunya. Instead, it is meant to help you to follow the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ by building a healthy body, a better mindset, and getting closer to Allah in less than 90 days. He lost up to 10 kilos of body fat in less than 8 weeks. And this put him in the best shape of his life and created habits that made him a better Muslim. And all of these results made him realize one single thing. That is, he never wants to stop using the system. This has become a lifestyle that he wants to live. And that is what you need to do as well. Create a lifestyle you want to live, a lifestyle that will bring you closer to Allah, create a healthier body, make you into a better Muslim. And now when you understand exactly how this process worked, I've laid all the cards on the table. I have an offer for you. If you are tired of being an unhealthy Muslim, feeling far away from Allah, being skinny or being overweight and having no confidence of your body, and you are ready to have more energy for your family and work, and you want to create habits that brings you closer to Allah, you want to feel more confident and proud of your body, you want to go from a negative state to a positive state, I will personally help you to do that. I will personally help you to lose 10 kilos of your body fat. I will help you to have more energy for your family, for your business, for your work, whatever that might be. And I will help you to build habits that brings you closer to Allah in less than 90 days. All of this using the Stronger Muslim system. And I will personally be there to support you and coach you in this. And on a side note, if it doesn't work for you, if this system does not work for you and does not give you the results you need, I will refund every single penny that you have invested in this, because I am 100% confident this will help. So if you're ready to make that jump, if you're ready to go from the negative state you're in right now to the dream body you want to have, to the dream state you want to have, to become the best Muslim version of yourself, I have put a link in the description of this video to an application form. So I want you to make an application there, write down the details, and I will contact you so we can have a one-on-one call and go through what you need help with and how we can use this system to help you and get you to your dream body in less than 90 days. Make sure to make the right choice for yourself and for your family and for Allah. Because if you're not becoming better now, when are you going to become better? Tomorrow is not promised and guaranteed. The only thing we have is the present. The only thing we have is today. So if you're ready, go to the description down below, make your application, and I'll contact you as soon as possible, and we go from there. So thank you so much for watching this video. And don't forget, if you want to see more videos like this and you want to have more value like this, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I'm going to drop a lot of these videos and a bunch of other videos to make you into a stronger and a better Muslim, inshallah ta'ala. And lastly, don't forget to make that application to join the Stronger Muslim system so I can personally help you. And all you need to do is to go to the link in the description down below and make your application. Until then, I see you in the next video, inshallah ta'ala. Wassalamu alaikum.